The first thing we're going to check is the automatic function in your core and pelvic floor. A lot of times we think that symptoms like leakage or pain or discomfort or bulging or hernia are linked to weakness. And so our automatic thought is to strengthen, strengthen, strengthen. But actually, a lot of it has to do with automatic function. Up to 95 to 97% of us are born with a built-in automatic response in our core and pelvic floor. What does that mean? That means that when pressure comes, and pressure can be lifting, sneezing, coughing, laughing, carrying, running, anything that just creates that increase in intra-abdominal pressure. So you can notice if you cough, you really feel like, and you've got like some pressure happening. If you have leakage, then you definitely know what I'm talking about, or prolapse feelings. Those of us who are born with that innate function have an automatic response to that pressure, which means that when the pressure comes, whatever it is, let's just say it's a cough, it increases the pressure and your core and your pelvic floor automatically respond. So your core, this whole area here, lights up, goes in and up, and your pelvic floor also rises up to meet that pressure, just to counteract that. It's not a huge contraction. It's not a Kegel and a transverse activation to navel to spine. It's just enough to stop that pressure from creating damage, so from creating leakage or pain or discomfort. Now, a lot of us, especially women, tend to lose that function, especially during pregnancy and birth, just because the changes that happen in your body, everything gets put into different places and pushed out of the way and redistributed, and it's just really difficult for these planes to kind of speak together. But it's common for men and even children to have these issues as well, because commonly we have worse and worse posture as a culture. We have a lot of stress, we have a lot of tension, and so this automatic function just kind of gets turned off after a while. Also, if you have a lot of digestive issues, that can be something that turns off that automatic function. So what we're going to do now is just test what your starting point is. So I want you to just lie down. If it doesn't work for you to lie down on a hard surface like a yoga mat, you can do this in bed, you can do this on the couch, you can have a pillow under your knees if that's easier for you, or if lying down doesn't work for you at all, you can also do it reclining on a couch, but I don't want you to be sitting or standing because then you're engaging different types of muscles. So I want you to be as relaxed as possible. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take one hand and place it on the lower part of your belly. So between your navel and your pubic bone there, and try to rest it so you're not stressing. What I want you to do is just do a couple of coughing rounds, and I want you to cough without bracing, without kegling, without trying to stop the cough like consciously, so not thinking about whatever it is you think about when you're trying to stop a cough or stop a sneeze or whatever it is. So just do that a couple of times now and try to feel what's happening underneath this hands here, so underneath this area here in your lower abdomen, and see if you can feel what's happening in your pelvic floor. So if the pressure isn't being met by anything, you're going to feel bulging or pressure down in your pelvic floor. If the contraction is working perfectly, then you're going to maybe feel. So let's just do 2 good coughs together. Just give that a try. So you can see here that her function isn't intact. So when she's coughing, we see the hand raising quite easy to see here, right? It could be that with you, you feel a little bit of a lift, or it could be that just your hand kind of explodes towards the ceiling. I want you to just grade that in terms of if there's just a little bit movement, a lot of movement, or it feels completely out of control, right? So out of control would be just like bouncing off into the ceiling, and maybe it feels a little bit more control, maybe you just feel a little bit of a lift. Now, maybe you were unsure about what you felt in your pelvic floor, which is really normal. So what I want you to do is I just want you to use your other hand and put your fingertips around your vaginal opening. So like where between your perineum and where your vaginal opening is, where you had your baby or where you put your tampons, that's what I want you to feel there now. And do a couple more coughing rounds. Make sure you're not clenching or kegling or doing anything like that. So let's do that together. Perfect. And then it was probably a lot easier to feel if that pressure went against your fingertips or not. So if you coughed and that pressure came and it kind of bounced against your fingertips, then you know that that automatic function isn't working properly. Now, maybe you could also feel like a bulging feeling, like a balloon coming out of your vagina. If so, there's like absolutely no function there, or maybe it was just like a little tap. So kind of grade it in terms of if it's really light, if there's a lot of movement, or if you feel a lot of pressure there. Now, ideally, in a perfect world, what we would be getting here is an automatic contraction. So if everything's working perfectly, in which case maybe you're not taking this course, but if everything was working perfectly, what you would feel would be your vagina going away from your fingertips, so like a tiny little contraction, and you would feel your stomach as well going away from your fingertips and into your body. So just to show you and just to illustrate from the side, if you were able to see yourself, you would be coughing and you would kind of get something that looked like this. So you would see it kind of going in and contracting. You would see these muscles coming on and your core as well lighting up. And you might even be able to feel in your core, in your pelvic floor, a little bit of a lift away from your fingertips. So just give this a couple of rounds. Really try to relax, try not to stop, cough, and see what you find.